They're going to start calling me Cold Open Bill. Because that's how I'm opening this show today. Cold Open Bill. There I am. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Back over here at Bill's drawing table. There we go. Put this where it goes, put this where it goes. Put this paper where it goes. Some person, yes, I'm also wondering what I'm doing. So that is the proper. Here, let me get a swig of water. Yum. Working on some Nira-X pages tonight. That is what's going on tonight. The Bob Ross of erotic art. Yeah, I'm gonna draw some happy boobs over here. In peaceful backgrounds. Yeah, let me set these pages aside over here where they're safe. And I could start warming up a little bit with this page. Oh man, I could use a little bit of light. Let's see here. There we go. Hope the weekend is treating everybody good. Let's see. I got my brush pen here. I got my other pen here. Let's work on this this Darkon fellow here for a second, and then we'll move on to Nira-X. Yeah, this past week was not horrible. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on. But when I say not horrible, it's because I was going through a little bit of a cold. And, well, a cold makes everything either horrible or challenging. So, kind of sucked a little bit. Just the whole congestion, trying not to cough thing, all that stuff. I got past all that part. This is, I'm on post-cold mode right now. Where, I don't know, every time I get a cold, I don't know, for some reason, like the cough or a little bit of congestion or whatever, it just kind of like lingers for a minute. Like it wants to remind me that I was sick. Like it didn't want to let go. So that part is always makes you just want to stop working for a few days and just sleep, you know, just like try to sleep it off. But overall, I think I'm doing all right now. It's just that sort of lingering cold thing that's kind of like left over. Luckily, it wasn't COVID or anything like that. Got everybody over here tested. Anytime you start getting coughs and sniffles and whatever, man, everybody gets tested nowadays, right? So, hey, Pops, how are you doing, dude? Saying hi to Pops. Saying hi to some person. I bet that guy can eat whatever he wants. Yeah, this guy, I don't know. He can either eat whatever he wants, or maybe everything gives him indigestion. Maybe that's what made him evil in the first place. But I do want him to go on record as being entertainment's largest zombie. So like giving him like A lot of potholes and marks. Yeah, today's episode is going to be me kind of meandering around this page until it looks finished. This guy's not one for having kidneys. See if I can get some volume in the water here. But yeah, hopefully nobody else has had to deal with being in the middle of a sick or having a cold or anything like that. Hopefully this is just my once a year getting sick situation. Not that there isn't always something else to complain about. This brush pen comes in handy for stuff like this. I was actually having a coughing fit right before I started the show. I was this close to not even doing it tonight. But luckily it calmed down on me. Trying to make a nice little chapter division here between Nira's wing. Instead of having a panel border, I'm just having the water kind of go to black behind her wing. So that'll sort of act as my panel border. I just think that'll look cooler for this panel. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good month of working on the Nira book and getting it all ready for the printer. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. Some of the pages that I've got set up, I'm already got it set up and prepped up for coloring. So I think I might actually have I'll have some episodes also, along with these, that'll show you some of the coloring process. I just think it's fun. It's I like watching other people's coloring process. So I hope you guys like watching it too. I'll leave that there for now. Pop says, Bill, I was the 100th backer on Zen. Dude, that's awesome, man. So you were number 100. Dude, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like it took us, there was a couple of days there where I stopped promoting, and I stopped even letting people know that the campaign was up just because I was dealing with that cold. And thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Thanks for doing that. I'm gonna tell Tom you were the guy. Yeah, we'll be pushing and promoting that Zen Kickstarter a little bit more over the next week or two. Get some more awareness on it. I was a little surprised at the timing of the Nira-X Kickstarter and the beginning of the Zen Kickstarter. They're a lot closer than I like to plan these events. So it's just coincidence that it happened to be that close to each other. I have to separate them a little bit more than that. But in the description of the video, I'll make sure I leave for people watching later on. I will leave a link in the description of the video so you can find the Zen Kickstarter a little bit easier. Or if you go to Kickstarter, just look up Zen Bounty Wars #1, and it'll definitely pop up. I'll make sure I leave the link on there too, so that way people can find it easy. I wish my voice was a little bit more together. I would sound a lot more excited if my voice was normal right now, but it's still a little bit in that where if I talk too much, I think I'm a little scared that I might start coughing or something. So I'll keep the talking conservative on this fine Saturday. Getting some shading and some little reflections and stuff on her costume. Pop says, I saw your post and was like, yeah, I can be that guy. Dude, you're 100, man. You're number 100. You 100%. That's what you meant when you messaged me later on. That I could call you 100, number 100. You literally meant you're number 100. That message makes sense now. I was going into a post-cold coma again when I read it, and I did not understand that you were backer number 100. That's what that meant. You're awesome, dude. Now we've decoded you. Now we know who you are. That's cool. That's super cool. probably come in with some white ink and touch that up a little bit, put some little highlights, little dots, little things. Let me do this wing over here. Leave some space for my arm. Like sometimes I could keep a straight line that long, and sometimes I can't. So luckily, it seems to be working out right now. Now the brush, I usually reserve the brush only for organic and kind of round shapes. Just have to kind of feel it out if I'm doing like more of a straight shape, whether or not I'm going to keep a straight line or not. You know, Kat was looking at some of the old Nira-X comics that I got from the 90s, and there's a couple of issues where she's got these huge boots, and Kat was actually very disappointed that she doesn't have those gigantic boots like right now for the story. So she's insisting. She is insisting that I put giant boots on her again, for old time's sake. So then that could be something that we'll end up having to do at some point here. I do really like drawing those giant boots, but they are huge. They're like ridiculous huge. But I guess that's what makes them cool, right? So she's not meant to be a realistic character. That's right, that's right. Jim, how you doing? Good evening, good sir. Joining us on this fine night of inking some comics. You know, it's funny, when I first started drawing this band, this leg belt. I don't have a word for this. Leg belt is. I know there's an actual name for these things. But when I first started drawing this leg belt, for lack of a better word, one day, 30 years later, I'll come up with a name for where she stores her cyber skin. Her leg belt. It used to be these, instead of it being like very tactical little techie compartments. It used to be just in true 90s form. It was basically a place for pouches. It looked more like it looked more like Looked more like Spawn's leg belt thing than it did anything else, I think. And eventually it evolved into what she actually uses, which is like all of her cyber equipment, her cyber gadgets and stuff. When it first started out, it just looked like ammo boxes, ammo packs. But I like that. You can see where the influences would come from, you know. That was definitely a product of a '90s imagination. But I like seeing like the origin of like where things come from. You know, it's like, oh, where'd you get the influence for that, or where'd you get the influence for this? You know, I think stuff like that is interesting. Pops, that's actually not bad. That's not bad. We call it a cyber garter. My sketchbook. Let's see, just stopping by to say hey ho, hey yo. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I do. Yeah. Mighty Geek, how you doing, man? Let's see, in the '90s, everyone was copying Batman's utility belt in some way. Oh my gosh, yeah. Since I was a kid, all my drawings and characters, yeah, there's always elements of your favorite characters that you always kind of like stick into your characters. You know, that is so true. It is funny how things evolve, though. Like when you first start coming up with a character, especially when you're a young creator. You know, I was in my early 20s when I came up with Nira. It's like you could really tell where like my influences were. You could tell like where what other things I was into at the time. You know, because those influences made it into the designs. You know, because you draw what you like. You know, and then over time, it eventually starts finding a voice of its own. Like even the shapes of her wings are very reminiscent of like all the things I would like from like a lot of the vehicles and stuff, like from like Appleseed. A lot of Shiro's work has a huge influence on me and on my style, or on the way that I try to draw my artwork. Definitely has that influence. And then eventually, as I drew more stories with her, like all of a sudden, it's like with this the cyber garter. Like she never actually went in there like it was a pouch, like for ammo. It was like the way that she was using it, like the story driven reasons why she was actually using it didn't line up with it being pouches anymore. And another thing that kind of guides it too is what's more natural for the person to draw. You know, what is my particular style or like the way that I draw things. Like there's always not a, I don't want to say a disconnect, but there's always what you want to draw, and then there's the limit of what you can draw, like your skill level. It's like your experience, you know, what do you know how to draw in the first place. So it's like there's lots of things that I would want to put into my characters, but I wasn't a good enough artist at the time to even pull it off. So there was that limit, between what you want to do and what you can do, and that's what ends up being the character for however long. See, you made me laugh. So I coughed. I don't know, man. When I was a child of the 90s, I think I lived in denial that my fanny pack was actually my utility belt somehow. But you're right. No mainstay character that I know of has a fanny pack. Cyber Garter is gonna stick. It might. It just might. I really don't have another name for a little tactical leg belt. So I don't know, man. Cyber Garter might actually stick after all. I like watching the character take shape. Just coming out of the paper, It's like, it was just a blank sheet of paper a little while ago. Almost got this. I liked her wings a lot better ever since I decided to not have them like they're floating off of her back. They're not necessarily connected to her back. I think it's a lot more fun for me to draw because I can draw them in lots of different angles. That's right, Pops. You like being creative all day long, man. That's what it is. By the way, I really appreciate everybody who's watching. You know, pop into the studio a little bit, see what's going on. I thank you guys for always supporting and stuff and sharing links. If you haven't, you have a chance. That really does help a lot when you share the links across your socials and stuff. That pesky algorithm does limit everybody's reach, so it actually does make a huge difference when you share or like you repost a video, or like we got the Kickstarter and stuff going on right now for Zen, and it actually makes a huge difference when people share that link out. Every once in a while I hit the microphone. Yeah, totally true. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised at how much of her original design has stayed with her. Because like we did end up coming up with most of that, like, gosh, 1992, I think. And I do like to change her. I like to change her design a lot. Like almost every time I draw her, I'm fiddling with something. Ken, how you doing, man? Good evening, sir. Hey, man, I'm glad you're out there living the life, man. Doing your thing, but I'm glad you're hanging out with us now, so it's good. It's good. This is actually page 7, I believe. Yep, page 7. Let's see. Pop says, I'm surprised nobody named the Cyber Garter. Nobody named the Cyber Garter in all this time. Yeah. Yeah, Cyber Garter is pretty good. It's a pretty good name. Miss Pen is almost dead too, so this is like it almost made it to the end of this page. It's good. It's good. Loyal Pen. Never let this guy swim in your pool. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's not gonna be good news. Cyber Garter? I'm working on 2 books. Well, I'm working on Nira first, but I've also got some pages for the new Zen book starting to get laid out, starting to get inked. The intergalactic ninja himself. Who would have thought 30 years later, I'm still drawing this guy, huh? You're being all sneaky. Yeah, I think that's about as much as I can do with this for tonight. I know, right, Ken? Well, guys, like I said before, it's sort of a post cold episode. So I think I'll probably call it an evening for tonight. Yeah, I think I'll call it an evening for tonight. But starting next week, I'll let you guys know when and where these pages are going to be available, and I'm sure that we're going to be making a lot more a lot more headway with the book. So you're going to see a lot more new stuff here in the next week or two. So I'm excited about that. And if you guys get a chance, I do have an online store at my webpage at billmouse.com. There's some free PDFs there. I got some free comics there that you can download. I try to rotate some original art in and out of the store just in case there's original art that you'd like to pick up. I appreciate it. But yeah, there's some free comics there. I think I've got the Nira-X Cyber Angel, the very first 4-issue miniseries that we published with Entity Comics back in the day, and you could download those as free PDFs. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And until next week, we'll be back here. Well, I'll be back here. I'll be back here again next Saturday at 10 o'clock with a little bit more artwork than I had for tonight. So that way we have a few more things to look at. And I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. I'm glad you guys were here. And I'll definitely see you next week. Hey, thanks.